Pink is for girls and blue is for boys.
You know where they got it from? Disney. They got it from Disney. And so with these little children growing up, blue for Junior and pink for Cheryl. Okay. So she starts liking pink. He starts liking blue. And then their friends come to visit and they carry it to the next house. And we keep spreading it. Pink is ladylike. So if you're a guy and you have pink, they say, ha.
Now let's wind back the clock back to the 19th century. In those times, both boys and girls were dressed in dresses, predominantly in white. This might seem unusual to our modern sensibilities, but it was done for practical reasons. White clothes were easier to bleach clean, a major consideration in a time before modern washing machines. And dresses, regardless of child sex, allowing for easy diaper change. During this period, there wasn't much emphasis on distinguishing genders among young children. And they were often depicted in art and photos wearing frilly white dresses, almost indistinguishable by our standards. However, as we moved into the early 20th century, retailers started to experiment with the concept of gender-specific clothing. This was when color started playing a major role in differentiating boys' and girls' outfits. Pink was originally associated with boys and blue with girls. This information comes from various trade catalogs and fashion write-ups from that period. For instance, a 1918 publication from the trade publication Earnshaw's Infants Department stated that pink, being a stronger color, was suitable for boys, while blue, being delicate and dainty, was prettier for girls. However, this association didn't stick around for long. Somewhere in the mid-20th century, the color swapped genders.
This gender segregation by colors exploded in the mid-20th century with Disney's marketing and merchandising strategy, which heavily marketed pink as the signature color for girls and the color blue for boys. Franchises, like Cars, these were often segregated in Disney stores with pink aisles for princesses and blue aisles for action figures. This further reinforced societal norms, until it became a deeply imprinted programming in the minds of many to associate pink with girls and blue for boys.
It's not just the segregation of toys, it's also the very ideas about gender that are embedded in the toys themselves. Ultimately, our children's interests should never be dictated by the needs of the market, by the needs of corporate profit. Rather, the things that our children play with, that they're exposed to, should reflect our deeper values. They should reflect our interests for them.
So they've done real bad things, those guys. So when they hear me talk about pink again now, they'll feel like dying. But you see, I'm only telling the truth. You see, they've deceived the whole world, making ladies believe that pink is their color. Because it's called control, mind control. Mind control. And they always try to see how far they can push, how far they can go, and help people drift away from the things of God. That's what they've done for many years
Disney
now.
is a military-industrial partner, if not completely a corporation for the military-industrial complex, and they want to make soldiers. And this has to do, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion, with mind control.
The American Psychological Association, APA, describes mind control as the systematic manipulation of an individual's thoughts, beliefs, or behaviors through psychological techniques. In light of this, two common mind control techniques that have been deployed by Disney through the years are MK Ultra Mind Control and Monarch Mind Control.
You know, there are many people who are victims of mind control, and they don't realize that that's what has happened to them. For example, the very cardinal sin in the Garden of Eden was a result of mind control. Satan played on the woman's mind, played on her thoughts. You read the scripture in Genesis chapter 3, and you see mind control. And she didn't realize what was going on. But Satan uses the same tricks today, playing on the minds of men. Large corporations do it. Countries, governments of nations do it.
Disney is very much heavily involved in MK Ultra mind control, has been from the start. Disney was associated with Project Paperclip that brought the Nazi and fascist scientists into the U.S., and with them came MK Ultra mind control and the formula for application of it. So Disney's been deliberately involved in it right from the get-go.
Not only is Disney programming a staple of monarch mind control, some victims even report being taken to Disney parks for programming, and a great number of Disney stars show signs of having been subjected to this form of total mind control.
And that's why people like Britney Spears just went nuts.
MK Ultra mind control rules in Hollywood.
The different places that were involved in MK Ultra, one was Disney, and I was taken to Disney World in Florida. They have a very sophisticated setup in the underground or the underworld of Disney World, where mind control programming occurs.
Located underneath the surface are tunnels or utility corridors, which can be accessed through certain unmarked doors located in various shops, restaurants, and attractions. It is in these utility corridors where child pornography, child trafficking, and mind control programming are allegedly taking place.
Stuff like this Disney crap, you say parents think that Disney's teaching their kids, showing their kids something good. More and more parents, Tim, are waking up to the fact that Disney does not have the best interests of their kids at heart. I can promise you. You can look at the stats on how many people are visiting Disney right now. It is plummeting because people realize, hang on, these people are trying to brainwash my kids. These people are trying to teach my kids instead of me teaching my kids.
While Disney's theme parks hold the keys to several levels of mind control, with victims to show for it, another level of mind control that has been directly targeted at children in more covert ways has been through television programming. This time, subliminal depictions and symbolisms of dark magic, Satanism, and even transhumanism are deployed as mind control tools. This is pure evil.
Understand symbolisms. 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 What do they mean? What are the signs? When you see something happening, is there a message? Are these subliminal messages?
There is something very wrong with Disney's new animated series Little Demon. It's all about the ongoing agenda of normalizing and even glorifying Satanism and the general concept of evil to the masses. I mean, take a look at this trailer and tell me it doesn't openly celebrate Satan. You don't have to watch the entire series, but a simple look at the various trailers available online is more than enough to confirm another fact. Little Demon is drenched in the occult elite's agenda and symbolism. Satan gives the main protagonist cool powers that allow her to fight back against bullies at school and such. The message, Satan is your friend. Another message, witchcraft is female empowerment. Also notice the all-seeing eye in her hair. It tells you that this show was sponsored by the occult elite.
Think about what Disney stands for, the Magic Kingdom. The Disney films are programming to indoctrinate children with sorcery and with magic and with superpowers and all these things that incorporate magic and the occult. I'll go over a list right now. Let's read it out. This is just a few. There's so many more probably. You have Fantasia, the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Fantasia the movie is a magical spell in which the Disney Corporation casts on the entire world in order to create something that is just fiction or magic and makes it real. And even magical rituals they tend to gain more power the more you do them over and over. So every time someone puts on Fantasia or any Disney movie, it's really just repeating a magical incantation and making it stronger.
Well, these particular cartoons contain messages that are in some cases very difficult to discern and in others very blatant. For example, in Aladdin, there is a line in the film, "Good teens, take off your clothes," which is discernible to those who are really listening for it, but not necessarily if you're not listening for it.
So how's our little Bo doing? Come on, good teens. Take off your clothes.
Wait. But you didn't know that it was there. You wouldn't hear it. The other movie, Beauty and the Beast. There, a nude woman pops up a few times in the background of Beauty and the Beast, filled with subliminal messages. Your kids are watching it, and their mind is maybe not even seeing it, but it's going into their subconscious. Words flashing on the screen over and over. sex, nudity, filth, just all the smut is just coming on the screen. Oh, those movies are harmless. They're filled with subliminal messages. Who knows what your kids are being programmed? Oh, but you know what? I'm sure that it's only just the Disney movies. I'll guarantee you it's the rest of Hollywood probably doing the same thing. And these Disney movies, at first when I was a teenager and somebody showed me this, I thought it was just a couple movies, a couple scenes. But as time has gone on, I've realized that virtually every Disney movie is packed with hundreds of subliminal messages to program the minds of your children. Okay, but then forget the subliminal message. Just the message of the Disney movies is perverted. Even if you just forget the subliminal message. I mean, forget what movies did we bring up? The Little Mermaid. A half animal, half human being. And that's perverted in and of itself. All throughout the Bible, every false god is a half animal, half human being. They're constantly merging of animals and human beings. It's paganism. It's wicked. And yet every Disney movie is pretty much based on the merging of a human being with an animal. It's described in the Bible.
Okay, then they remake them. Why do you think there's remakes of Cinderella all the time? Alice in Wonderland all the time. And people say, why are they remaking it? The original is the best. They remake these films to modernize them for the next generation, for the brainwashing. They redo it because this is the type of programming that has been working for them. Why would they change the programming? The Cinderella programming has been working for them for centuries. They're not going to change the programming and create new programming because look where we're at, exactly where they want us to be. So what do? They remake it. They remake it to modernize it so the next generation can relate to it. Make it more colorful, make it more look modern day. Their pyramids, their all-seeing eyes, all of that stuff is there, part of the predictive programming, the conditioning.
No doubt, the symbolisms are there. And I told you before that these things are being run from the cults. And that's why many of the people who are behind this don't even have a clue what's going on. That's what they've done for many years now. And some of those characters that you see in cartoons and so on.
Treatment that I was still dealing with at that time, that everyone around me saw and did nothing.
On paper, they're labeled May monsters. Sheriff Judd took it even further Thursday.
They're nasty, nasty people.
Among the 8 child porn arrests is 40-year-old Paul Vale of Davenport. Vale was, get this, a Disney employee working at the Cosmic Rays restaurant. Just wait until you hear what he allegedly had. Brace yourself.
He was a sadomasochist. There was photographs where they had tied up babies in preparation for sexual battery.
Vale faces a whopping 540 counts of child porn. That's 540 felony charges.
Well, why do people like Paul Vale work at Disney? Because that's where the children are. And they want to be around children.
The long line of people who have come through the Disney programming. Why do you think that is? Why do you think Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake, why do you think all these people start at Disney, okay? Then they get pushed out of Disney, go into mainstream and become big stars. Because they get your children to see them as cookie cutter and clean so that you as a parent are supportive. You say, ooh, look at Britney Spears here. She's a nice girl in the Mickey Mouse Club. The kids become fans, right? Hannah Montana, the kids become fans. And they feel like they're growing up with her. Then they send her out of the Disney programming into the mainstream media. And her attitude changes. The way she dresses changes. She becomes sexual. Your children are now growing up with her. Now they're getting older. Now they're dressing like that. Now they're following him. Right? They get them to worship these false idols because they can relate to them. They're the same age, right? Ooh, Britney Spears understands me. I grew up watching Britney Spears. Right? Then Britney Spears' programming changes. She goes from being a princess to being a whore. Right? Why do you think that is? Or Miley Cyrus. Right? She goes from being cookie cutter to being a demonic entity on TV, dressing like a demon, pushing sex, pushing drugs in her music and alcohol and all that stuff. Because they get the children to start following these people, and then when they push them out into the mainstream, they'll change the way that they appear. They'll make them more adult, okay? The children are now teens. The parents can't control them anymore.
Another horrible form of indoctrination the Walt Disney Entertainment Company has championed in recent times is the sinister introduction of the failed LGBTQ agenda into their programming content. In a leaked video from an internal meeting with Disney's top executives, this much was exposed.
I don't have to be afraid to let's have these two characters kiss. Let's in the background. I was just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness.
This is Carrie Burke, who is the president of Disney.
I'm here as a mother of two queer children, actually, one transgender child and one pansexual child. And also as a leader. And now we know, as my son texted me this morning, Gen Z is 30 to 40% queer than the other generation's mom. So Disney better get with it.
With the president of Disney's General Entertainment proudly posing as a mother of a catalog of LGBTQ children, it has therefore become more preposterously dangerous than ever to leave your children exposed to any more content from the Disney Corporation.
So Disney is not the beautiful, nice company that you used to know. Lots of things have changed.
So while Disney continues to toe the line of negative programming and indoctrination of innocent children to pervert their young and impressionable minds, we must now more than ever be more vigilant and arm our children with the truth of God's word, packaged in pure, healthy, godly content for children, as this would be their ultimate shield against the destructive onslaughts of the adversary, in his quest to lead them down the paths of darkness and destruction. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. Psalm 127 verse 3.